Do you know what you're really after in love, in life, abundance, success? Because I do. It's the same thing we all want. And the sad truth is, most of us don't have it, or not a lot of it anyway. What you want, what we all want, love, more than anything else, is a life, relationship that feels good, that feels elevated, joyful, alive, free, abundant, meaningful, safe. Yeah. And just about everything that we do, okay, all we work for, all we fight for, everything that we try to accomplish is an effort to achieve that one thing, feeling good. And most of the time, if you're like most people, you don't. Not as good as you want to feel. Yeah. Oh, I mean, we're functioning. You're showing up, you're managing and carrying and doing all the things, except underneath all of that, there's like this low grade static of stress and overwhelm and effort and anxiety and not there, not enough. And we get so used to it that most of the time, until it like hits a peak, we don't even see it as a problem. It's just life. And I want to put a name to what that hum of dissatisfaction is costing you, dear one. It is costing you the very thing you've been working so hard to create in your relationship, in your business, in your family, in the life that you are here to live. And if you're wondering if this might be part of why your relationship feels the way that it does, it is. And today, we're going to talk about it. Welcome to another Catalyst conversation for a relationship revolution. Here, we challenge the unquestioned assumptions about love, life, and leadership, disrupting the patterns that are keeping you stuck and revealing the truths that no one has taught you. Here, we activate new ways of leading relationships consciously, courageously, differently, and dare I say, better, so that you can have the kind of relationship and life that most people only dream of. I'm so glad you are here. You ready? Let's get into it. Welcome to July, and welcome to our series for this month. This is the first episode in a new series, Alive in Love, the Serious Business of Joy. And I chose that name deliberately because I know that for a lot of us, joy feels like an indulgence, like something that we get to feel once everything else is handled, once the relationship is better, or the business is there, or the kids are okay, once we've earned it. This month, we are blowing that story wide fucking open. Okay? Because joy isn't the reward for doing the work, my friends. Joy is the work. And today, I'm showing up solo, just me and you, to lay the foundation for everything we're exploring this month. The conversation we're having today is one that has to happen first. Before the strategies, before the tools, before anything else, we have to understand what I'm going to share with you today. So let's get into it. Wait, not yet, actually. Before we get into it any further, let me take a moment to introduce myself for those of you who don't know me or are new to this podcast and the work that I'm doing in the world. My name is Dr. Jeni Wahlig. I am an award-winning relationship mentor, speaker, author, intuitive guide, and I am a relationship revolutionary. My mission is to revolutionize how we think about and go about our relationships and to redefine what it means to love so that we may all experience the true power and possibilities that our relationships have to offer. Because nothing, truly nothing, impacts the quality of our lives more than the quality of our relationships. And we are in relationship in every corner of our lives, including our relationship with ourselves. In fact, relationships are the foundation of everything else upon which we are building our life, right? But most of us have never learned how to do our relationships well, let alone how to lead them consciously and relationally. Much of what we have learned not only doesn't work, it is part of what is keeping us stuck and unhappy. So, this revolution that I am talking about is a great global healing of our lives through love, through a return from separation and back into wholeness. It's a paradigm shift in the way that all of humanity relates, loves, and leads, starting with the most intimate levels. And in these catalyst conversations, my goal isn't just to give you insight, it is to wake something up within you, to shift something so that you may be part of this revolution too. All right, now we're ready to get into this. I want to start by sharing with you one of the most important distinctions in the entire PowerfuLove methodology. And it's this: at any given moment of your life, you are in one of only two energetic states. Only two. We call them primal states and powerful states. Your primal state is your nervous system self-protection mode. Fight, flight, freeze, fawn. It's where you live when you're stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, resentful, shut down, or just meh. Okay, it ranges, there's a whole spectrum. So it ranges from like full-on panic all the way down to that low-grade hum that I named in the opening. And that low hum that most of us have learned to live with, we typically call fine. I'm fine. I call that low-grade primal state energy, okay? Your powerful state, energetic state, is when you feel good. Love, appreciation, calm, confidence, curiosity, connection, joy, abundance, excitement, exhilaration, right? All of those feel good, energetic places, those are your powerful state energies. That is where your best thinking lives, your creativity, your life force energy, your capacity for genuine, conscious response, right? That's where that lives too. And the truth that could change the game for you, my friend, is that everything you desire to create in your relationship and your life, frankly, can only be effectively created from a powerful state. So every tool that we teach our clients, every framework, every conversation, all of it works exponentially better when you are in a powerful state. And most of it doesn't work at all when you're not. This is where a lot of people run into problems. They learn the tools, they know what they're supposed to say and what they're supposed to do, but they are not doing it from an energetic state that's going to get them the results. This is why we teach prioritizing powerful states as one of the foundational shifts in the work that we do, because without that powerful state energy, your other relationship efforts are just going to leave you spinning your wheels. And here's why. When you're in a primal state, your brain has literally shifted into some version of survival mode, survival and self-protection. These are the opposite of connection, and connection is what we need. Connection, resonance, alignment, those are what we need to create the kind of life and love that we desire. So on the more primal we get, the more we actually lose access to our prefrontal cortex, which is the part of our brain that's actually responsible for problem solving, holding nuance, the gray area of life, having perspective, empathy, creativity, and conscious choice. So when we are in primal state energies, we become less coachable, less open, less available, less able to deeply hear and understand. The thoughts, the memories, the feelings that become available to you are different than those that are available to you when you're in powerful state energy. The stories that your brain tells, the meaning that you make, they're going to be darker, more catastrophic, more fixed, more negative. And what feels possible contracts and no longer feels possible. I had a client this week who was in a really stressed place, deep primal state energy. And the things that he was saying about what was possible for him, for his relationship, in his business, in his life, were so different than what I had heard him say in other days. And he was not able to receive new information. He couldn't be coached in those moments. His brain had shifted into a kind of tunnel vision where the only evidence that he could find was around what's wrong and what wouldn't work and why it wouldn't work. Okay. And that's not a character flaw on him. We all get that way. That's our biology. That's what a nervous system in self-protection mode does. And in fact, the solution in our session was he needed to shift. We needed to end the session early because what his nervous system really needed was more spaciousness to settle. And that was honoring of it in that moment, because we recognized without moving further away from the depth of the primal state into feeling a little bit better, right? Even if he was still kind of in primal state energy, he was not going to be able to accomplish anything, right? So what's makes this so critical in our relationship specifically, though, is that your nervous system and your partner's nervous system are in constant conversation. When you walk into a room stressed, your partner's nervous system registers it before you even say a word. We pick up on those subtle cues, the energetic frequency that we are radiating, 100% radiating in our vibrations, okay? Their nervous system is then responding to yours, which means your stress becomes the weather. Your bad mood becomes the temp, right? And then they get stressed or defensive or anxious. They withdraw, or they tighten and anticipate your mood and then become more reactive to you, right? I'm sure that you have felt this. We all have. This is part of the human experience in relationship. But we then, especially from our primal state energy, read our partner's response or reaction to our energetic state as confirmation of the story that you were probably already telling about them not being there for you, or them not liking you, or them always being in a bad mood, or not being able to talk to them, or whatever it is. So this spiral tightens. The shittier you feel, the shittier things get. The shittier things get, the shittier you feel. You know this loop. We call it the downward doom loop. We've probably all lived some version of it, at least at some points in our life. So what's the solution? I want to be very clear. It is not toxic positivity. Our negative moods, our primal state energy, it matters. It's there for a reason. It gives us very important messages that we need to listen to. So pretending that everything is fine and just pushing away that primal state energy, not the solution I am prescribing, my friends. Okay? Bypassing the hard stuff or slapping a gratitude journal on top of real pain is just going to make things worse. The solution is a devotion, my friends. A devotion to shifting, a devotion to our state of being, of attention to and nourishing of our powerful state energies. That's what I'm talking about is a committed daily practice of returning to powerful state energy. Not because you feel like it, because frankly, you're not going to fucking want to. I don't. When I'm in a primal state and I know I need to meditate and that meditating would make me feel better, I don't fucking want to, but I sit my ass down and I do it anyways. Most of the time. Not perfect, but most of the time. And we do it because we understand what's at stake when we don't. Listen, About 6 years ago, I started working with a mentor who introduced me to this distinction, primal versus powerful states. And he asked me to honestly consider how much of my day was I spending in some form of primal state energy. And I want to invite you to sit with that too. How much of your day are you actually spending in primal state energy? And I sat with that question, and I was shocked and deeply disheartened by my own answer. If I was awake for 16 hours a day, say, I was probably spending 12 of them in some kind of stress, overwhelm, anxiety, or meh, okay? Frustration, fear, low grade unhappiness. 12 out of 16. That was my baseline. Okay. That was what I was calling normal. And you think about like the cost, if you were to put a price on that, my level of productivity, how well I was able to focus or get things done or enjoy my life. Like that's a lot of hours that I was losing to primal state energy, that I wasn't able to focus or be productive or be present. And then in fact, I was making things worse, which was taking more energy and taking more time. Like sit with this for a moment, love, because I am willing to bet that your number isn't all that much different from mine. And I want you to consider, what is that costing you to keep operating from that baseline in your relationship, in your leadership, in your body, in your joy. That recognition for me was the beginning of my own devotion that has genuinely changed my life. The reason that we've integrated this into how we work with individuals and couples on their relationship transformation, because of how essential this is. So I started paying attention to how I was actually feeling on a daily basis. I started interrupting those primal state loops. I started getting my ass off of the bitch train, as one of my favorite mentors likes to say, and intentionally moving onto the bliss train. That's how he talks about it, right? Not perfectly, of course, not dramatically, but consistently. Every little moment, every little practice, every little new thought supports you in rewiring this programming, which, by the way, in our culture, in our the dominant frequency is one of fear and not enough and scarcity and like what ifs and need mores and your worth is valued by your productivity. So we are very, very much programmed to stay in primal state energies. And in fact, our nervous system just biologically is wired to pay more attention to what's scary or hard or bad or painful or not working, because paying attention to those things that are threatening to our survival is how we survive. We don't have to pay attention to what's working. We don't have to pay attention to what feels good, because it feels good. It's not a threat. Okay. So there's a biological predisposition, in addition to this cultural context that we're living in, that really sets us up for staying in that primal state energy. So it takes a fair bit of consciousness. This is why I call it a devotion, a fair bit of consciousness, attention, and choice and practice to rewire our nervous systems to spend more and more time in powerful state energy. The work for me hasn't been easy, but it has been worth every single moment, because my life now is very different. My relationship is different. My capacity to navigate hard things without being destroyed by them is worlds apart from where it was when I started. I experience so much more joy. My baseline is so much more peaceful, hopeful, happy, present, not perfectly, right? I'm not at like 0 hours a day in primal state energy, but I am probably on average closer to maybe 4 hours in primal state energy a day. compared to the 12. Like, I don't know the math of that. What is that, 2/3? Like, someone do the math for me. Write it in the comments. Like, what's the percent improvement there? It's a fucking lot, and it makes a huge difference. And I'm still on my journey, right? I've been doing this for 6 years, and I have not been perfect at it, not even close. But I'm so much better at returning to a powerful state energy. Like, just yesterday, I was in a primal state. I was sitting with it as like sad. I recognized, in my consciousness of it, that I could do something about it, which is another thing that we teach. What I chose to do was turn toward Calvin, because I know that externally processing my feelings helps me to discharge them. And he has gotten much better at holding space for them. So I shared, and he held space, and he aligned and resonated. And by the end of it, we were laughing pretty hysterically together because of how our fucking brains work in response to stress, and how resistant we are to doing the one thing that we know is going to help us every day with all of our goals, which is actually meditating, sitting our ass down. Cal was so funny. He's like, universe, like, just if I need to jump through a flaming hoop of fiery shit, I will. Just like help things line up, and start working more in my life. He's trying to get out of his job, but we need our business to be at a certain point for him to do that. And it's not yet. And we're laughing because he's like, I would jump through a shit hoop of fire, but I don't sit my ass down to meditate every day. And that's like the easiest thing that I could do. And he's so right. But it's like I said, it's easy to say, it's harder to do, and it is so worth it. Your joy is not the reward, it is the work. So shifting, right? Like, I was able to shift that though in 15 minutes, whereas previously that kind of like starting my morning like that would have knocked me out for the whole rest of the day. Okay. I know how to find my way back to happiness, and my nervous system lets me, because I have done it so many times now. The value of that to my life, to the quality of my life, to the quality of my relationships, to the quality of my family harmony, my relationship with my 4 kids, I could not put a price tag on. Okay. So here's what I want you to understand about how to do this. First, awareness is everything. You cannot shift your state unless you are aware that you're in it. You have to notice it first. The power formula that we teach in our PowerfuLove work is awareness equals choice, and choice equals power. This is where it starts, not with a technique, with noticing. So start there tonight, tomorrow morning, right this instance. Okay. Just begin to notice, what state am I in right now? Is it primal or is it powerful? And how long have I been here without realizing it? Second, shifting your state doesn't mean arriving at perfect happiness. Okay. It means moving the needle. Abraham Hicks teaches that holding a clear, good feeling thought for just 17 seconds begins to attract a matching vibration. 17 seconds, not a meditation retreat, not a complete life overhaul, nothing outside of you needing to change or get better. 17 seconds of genuinely reaching for something that feels a little bit better. Think of someone you love. Go back to a treasured memory. Find something you're grateful for. Remember a precious moment of your life and hold on to that for 17 seconds. And you have changed the game. That's enough to begin. Okay. The third is the devotion that I'm talking about, not a destination, love. My business mentor, my current business mentor, whom I fucking love, she has made this very clear to me. She says to all of us, our number one job in business is to manage our state. Not our calendar, not our content, not our clients, our state. Powerful, primal. She has even gone so far as to say, like, if you need to stop everything and go to fucking Disneyland to reconnect to joy and play and magic, go, because nothing is more important to your business than your state of being. Relationships are no different, love. Your relationship is not immune to the energy you're carrying. In fact, your relationship is one of the first places that energy is going to show up and have an impact. Let me tell you one more story, personal one. My sister came to visit recently, and I love when she comes. She is my best friend, and it is a full, wonderful, beautiful time to be around her. Just being in her presence helped me be in a powerful state. And for those 3 days while she was here, I didn't do my morning practice, my ritual, which is sit down and meditate. Even if this is for 5 minutes, meditate. I read 10 pages from an abundance consciousness book, or a spiritual book, and I look at my things to remember journal and read 2 pages. Morning ritual. Okay, it takes me 20 minutes to an hour, depending on how long I want to do it. But I didn't do it for those 3 days that my sister was here. I skipped it because, life was full and I felt fine and Jessie was here. But by that 3rd day, I could feel the difference. My nervous system was spending more and more time in primal state energy. Things that normally wouldn't get to me were getting to me. It was harder to shift back. The gap between where I was and where I wanted to be felt wider, harder to bridge. 3 days. That's how quickly the baseline shifts without this practice, without this daily devotion. And that's why I call it a devotion, which I like that word better than practice, because practice is can feel like work or can feel like something that you just try, whereas a devotion, that's like a commitment, right? That's like a commitment to your life. It's a loving act of a sacred decision that is going to benefit you and everyone else around you, right? So it's a return. It's a return to something that really, really, really matters. And something that I think many people in the spiritual and mindset world are saying, and they're not wrong. So I want to say it here too, because I think it's related. And it's this: you have to feel it first. Okay? You have to feel the joy, the peace, the possibility before you see the evidence of it in your life. Not the other way around. That's why part of my practice is to read 10 pages from an abundance consciousness book, because I know I have to feel abundant to allow even more abundance into my life. I'll be happy when is a fucking lie your brain is telling you. It rarely comes that way, if ever, babe, and it certainly doesn't stay. Frequency match is everything. I'll say that again. Frequency match is everything. The relationship you want to have, the partner you want to experience, the version of your love story that feels alive and real and mutual, you have to be a vibrational match for it. And you cannot be a vibrational match for all of the things you desire in your life from inside 12 hours a day of primal state energy. So here's my invitation to you today, this month, especially as we are in the conversation, right? Let's start that practice. It's not to fix everything. It's not to change everything. It's not to overhaul your morning routine and never feel stressed again. That's not the goal. The invitation is this: just start. Start noticing. Start returning, even for 17 seconds, even imperfectly, even on the hard days. Make the commitment, not to stay on the high-flying disc all day long, but to keep coming back to it, at least to something a little bit better than what you notice you're at. Just a little shift, baby step in that direction. so you can learn the way back. Decide to make finding that way back, to make prioritizing powerful states your devotion. This is foundational work, my friend, for your relationship, for your leadership, for your life. This is where it starts. Everything you desire with your state of being. Now, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. If there's something in this episode that added value to your life, if this moved you, and I believe it did, will you do something right now? Will you subscribe to the Relationship Revolutionary podcast wherever you listen to podcasts? Leave us a review. Share something that you received from this conversation. Send this episode to one other woman or person who you know may need to hear it today. Your word of mouth, your sharing and engaging with this content is what helps get this conversation into rooms that I never could without you. If you want to help us activate and accelerate this global movement to revolutionize relationships, please make sure to comment, like, and subscribe to us on YouTube and across all social media. Attend our PowerfuLove events, and of course, do your part to continue leading with love. If you're looking for support yourself, please do reach out. There are a number of ways that Cal and I would be honored to support you, my friend. And I want to talk about two of them right now. And the first is completely free. It's a masterclass I'm hosting pretty regularly as part of my mission to support 1 million women and other folks. My focus is on women and queer leaders, but men and, of course, non-binary folks. You are included in my mission as well. But 1 million fucking people to learn how to revolutionize their relationships, to learn how to do their relationships better so that they may have more of what they have been asking for, more of what they've been longing for in their relationships. And so the masterclass is called How to Get Your Partner to Finally Show Up the Way You've Been Asking Without Burning Out Trying to Make It Happen. And I want to be clear about something, okay? This is not a teaching masterclass. You'll learn some shit, but it's not a teaching masterclass. It is an identity activation masterclass experience, okay? Real talk, real shifts, so you can have real change from one live experience. This is for the person who has been efforting in their relationship, asking, explaining, trying, hoping, doing all the things and still not getting the kind of partnership that she has been asking for and deserves. If that's you, this masterclass is a great next step. It's free. It's coming up again soon. The link is in your description, and I would love to see you there. If you know that you are ready for full transformation, if you're done waiting for things to get better on their own, and you are ready to like really lead the change and have support every step of the way to ensure that it happens with ease and much less effort than you've been putting in so far, the third path is for you. The third path is a 6-week relational leadership program for the one who wants to stay in their relationship, not leave, not keep spinning their wheels, but stay and change everything. And again, not by working harder, not by asking for more, not by doing it all yourself, but by shifting the one thing that shifts everything else: how you show up. Okay. This is the entry point to all of the other deep relational transformation work that we do. It is not therapy. It is work that is designed to work even if your partner is not on board or doing the work with you. Though, of course, partners are welcome to do it, to participate as well. This is personal transformation in the relational field, okay? The investment for the 6-week program. So the 6 weeks is powerful, like learn how to do it and start taking the steps and getting support along the way. After that, we move into longer programs where we actually continue to implement and embody the work. That's the application with us, right? But even in our longer programs, our deeper work, we're starting with the sixth path, the third path. Okay, so the third path is 6 weeks. The investment is $2,222. The link is in the description. If you have any questions, reach out. I will personally get back to you. Before I wrap up, I just want to return to the idea of our conversation today and leave you with one kind of final thing. The state that you're in is not a fixed thing. It is a trainable, shiftable, learnable thing. And the work of shifting your state is one of the most generous and loving things that you can do for every person you are in relationship with, because you cannot give what you don't have. When you are full, even a little more full than you were, love, everything changes. The way you listen, the way you respond, the way you love, the way you lead. So start there. I promise you, there is nothing more important than you can do for your own joy and fulfillment and like success in life and in receiving all that it is that you desire. Start there. And if you know that you are ready to go deeper into what that actually looks like, to lead your relationship and your life from that place, then reach out and let us support you. That's all I have for you today, my dear one. Please join me next week for another incredible conversation in our theme this month, Alive in Love, the serious business of joy. Until then, keep leading with love. Oh, don't forget, new episodes drop every Friday, 12:30 Pacific. I will see you then.